There's a special kind of satisfaction in seeing numbers rise, your gold total doubling, your damage output climbing into the billions, your idle currency increasing even while you're away. Classic games like Cookie Clicker and newer games like Vampire Survivors don't offer epic stories or complex mechanics. Instead, they're built around a simple hypnotic core. Click a thing, earn a number, and use that number to make the next number grow faster. And somehow that loop is wildly addictive. But what is it about passive progression that keeps us hooked? Why are games with minimal interaction, sometimes called idle or incremental games, so capable of dominating our time and attention? And how does something like Vampire Survivors, which requires just one stick and one button, create a dopamine drip more intense than many AAA blockbusters? Today we're going to look at the design of passive gameplay, the psychology of feedback loops, and our very human obsession with watching numbers go up. The roots of the idle genre trace back to the early 2010s with web-based games like Progress Quest, a parody RPG where your character plays itself without any player input. But the genre truly exploded with Cookie Clicker in 2013. Created by a French developer, what began as a browser-based joke about compulsive resource gathering quickly turned into a genre-defining hit. In Cookie Clicker, you start by clicking a giant cookie to earn 1 cookie per click. You can use those cookies to buy grandmas, farms, factories, and portals that produce cookies automatically. Before long, you're making billions of cookies per second. The gameplay barely evolves, yet players return for days, weeks, even years. The genius of Cookie Clicker lies in its elegant feedback loop. Every action, no matter how small, contributes to progress. There's always something just out of reach, a new upgrade, a better multiplier, a golden cookie that boosts production for 30 seconds. The pacing is expertly tuned so that players are never far from the next reward. This constant trickle of progression is what makes idle games so compelling. Clicker games tapped into a market of players who wanted low commitment, high reward experiences. Games that could run in the background of daily life, quietly rewarding attention and inattention in equal measure. To truly understand the appeal of watching numbers go up, we have to understand the psychology behind reward systems. Video games, like social media and slot machines, operate on what psychologists call variable ratio reinforcement, rewards that are unpredictable but always within reach. This taps into the brain's dopamine system. Dopamine is often mistaken as the pleasure chemical, but in reality, it's about anticipation. It's what drives us to seek out the next reward, the next upgrade, the next big number. Idle and incremental games are dopamine machines. They drip feed progress at a constant rate, ensuring that there's always a reason to check back in. Every time you earn enough to unlock a new unit or see a pop-up telling you plus 1 million damage, your brain gets a little hit of satisfaction. And then it wants more. The math doesn't even need to make sense. Numbers go from thousands to millions to sextillions, but the human brain doesn't care about scale. It just knows that progress is happening. In fact, as numbers get bigger, the rewards feel more meaningful, even if they're entirely abstract. Earning 10 cookies per second is fine. Earning 1 billion cookies per second feels amazing. And these idle games turn simple math into emotional highs. So if Cookie Clicker defined the idle genre's passive roots, Vampire Survivors redefined it by combining passive progression with light interactivity. Released in late 2021 by indie developer Ponkel, Vampire Survivors took the gaming world by surprise. The player only controls movement. Attacks are automatic. Enemies pour in from all sides. You collect XP gems, level up, choose new weapons, and evolve those weapons into more powerful forms. At first glance, it seems too simple, but within minutes the game becomes a dazzling spectacle. Your screen fills with explosions, projectiles, swarms of bats, and skeletons. Numbers fly everywhere. Damage output increases exponentially. And at the 30-minute mark, you might be doing millions of damage per second. What makes Vampire Survivors brilliant is how it disguises an idle game as an action roguelike. You move and dodge, sure, but the real satisfaction comes from the exponential growth. You start weak, and by the end you're literally a walking apocalypse. It scratches the same itch as traditional clickers, but adds just enough interactivity to feel engaging. Every run gives you the chance to optimize builds, experiment with synergy, and push your personal high scores. And like Cookie Clicker, there's always another upgrade around the corner. These incremental games aren't just mindless, they're meticulously designed. Developers use a variety of tricks to make sure players stay engaged. One of these tricks is the Prestige system, where players reset their progress in exchange for permanent bonuses. This one step back, two steps forward mechanic encourages repeated playthroughs and long-term investment. Games like Clicker Heroes, one of my personal favorites, Realm Grinder, and games like Adventure Capitalist all use prestige systems to extend gameplay indefinitely. The reset gives a fresh dopamine loop while still making the player feel more powerful with each cycle. Another powerful trick is number inflation. When damage goes from 100 to 100 million, the feeling of power increases, despite the enemies scaling equally. The illusion of growth is enough to satisfy the brain's reward system. Idle progression while offline is another major hook. Games reward you for not playing. You close the app, go to work, come back to a windfall of resources. Feels like progress without effort, a digital version of passive income. This taps into the fantasy of control and efficiency, giving players the sense that they're mastering a system even when they're away. So here's the million-dollar question. Are these games actually fun, or are they just good at exploiting our brains? For many players, these games are comforting. They're stress-free, goal-oriented, and non-punishing. There's no losing, no pressure, just steady advancement. In a world full of uncertainty and overcomplicated entertainment, idle games provide something refreshingly simple: progress. But there's a darker side. Some critics argue that idle games are barely games at all, just interactive screensavers engineered to manipulate. Their addictive nature, lack of challenge, and monetization, especially on the mobile end, raise concerns about ethical design. Yet there are others that defend them as meditative, even therapeutic. For players with anxiety, ADHD, or limited free time, idle games offer a sense of accomplishment and calm. They can be played while doing other things, allowing for relaxation without the pressure of traditional gaming. Like any genre, their value lies in how they're played and why. So whether it's a cookie counter, a sword that swings itself, or a damage number too big to comprehend, incremental games tap into something primal. The joy of watching numbers go up is the joy of immeasurable success. It's visible progress, reward for attention, and a little taste of control in an otherwise chaotic world. From Cookie Clicker to Vampire Survivors, these games succeed not by overwhelming players with complexity, but by creating a feedback loop so satisfying that we can't help but come back again and again and again. Because in the end, maybe that's what games are all about: the illusion of progress, the pleasure of growth, and the thrill of one more upgrade. And if I'm being honest, I'll probably check back in 5 minutes to see how many cookies I've made. Hey, as always, thank you very much for hanging out and watching the video with me today. If you enjoyed it, maybe go down, click like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you want more videos like this. I'll see you in the next video. I love you. Bye-bye.